pleased to welcome you to our 41st annual meeting and scientific symposium. In keeping with our Academy tradition, please rise and join me in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We have an outstanding meeting planned for you, and I would like to take a moment to thank our Clinical Content Committee for making this possible. I would ask them to stand as I call their names. Chairman Mark Holoka, Stefania Fatone, Alicia Davis, Shane Werdeman, Kinsey Heron, Mark Edwards, and our staff liaison, Shelley Blondes. I would now like to call to the stage Clinical Content Committee Chair Mark Holoka and Exhibit Chair Jeff Kingsley to recognize them for their tremendous efforts in putting together such a strong program. Mark and Jeff, please join me on stage. And while they are doing that, I would like to recognize the Academy staff by having them stand so that they can be recognized for the fantastic work they've done in making this meeting a reality and for their contributions throughout the year. We thank you. Thank you. I would be remiss if I did not call your attention to a very special group of individuals who are with us here today. These men and women have served our profession by providing vital leadership that has allowed the Academy to fulfill its mission. Would all Academy past presidents please stand? The Academy thanks you for your service, and I personally thank you for your wisdom, support, and friendship. I would now like to introduce you to the current elected leadership of the Academy. Their dedication and hard work have resulted in great progress for the Academy this year. So board members, please stand as I call your name. Immediate past President Michelle Hall, President-elect Jason Highsmith, Vice President Don Cummings, Treasurer Alicia Davis, and Directors Kate Allen, John Brinkman, Kevin Carroll, Lee Davis, Jared Howell, and Rick Miller. Please join me in giving them a warm round of applause for their service to the Academy and our profession. I regret that there is not enough time in this opening session to share all that the Academy's volunteers have accomplished this past year. So I hope that you will join us on Friday for the membership breakfast and business meeting to learn more about the work. You will also have the opportunity after the business meeting to ask questions and share your thoughts with members of the Academy's Board of Directors. Over the course of the next few days, you will have the opportunity to earn more than 38 credits by participating in a variety of educational options that are among the very best that the profession has to offer. The Clinical Content Committee has worked hard to make sure that you will receive excellent education with the ultimate goal of helping you provide the highest level of care to your patients. The Train Heart lectures, organized sessions, certificate programming, professional development, special events, poster presentations, and the mastectomy, pet orthotic, and technician programs are just a few of the outstanding educational opportunities. We also have additional highlights including the society forums, the Women in O&P reception, the member business meeting and breakfast, product display showcases, and the packed exhibit hall. Also, the New Orleans area has much to offer, and I hope that you find some downtime to reconnect, to relax, enjoy, and make the most of your visit. I look forward to visiting with you throughout the next few days and collecting your insights on how we can continue to improve both the meeting and the work of the Academy. At this time, I would like to call Academy Executive Director Peter Rosenstein to the stage. Peter?
Good evening. This is my 10th report to the Academy, and I'm in some ways sorry to say that it's also going to be my last, as next year there will be someone new as Executive Director of the Academy. But this has been an amazing and an exciting 10 years. A little grayer. I'm using my glasses more often. But other than that, it's been pretty incredible. I want to thank the board and past boards and the staff for the incredible work that has been done to bring the Academy forward to the extent it is today. I want to thank Shelley Blondis, Kimber Nation, Diane Ragusa, Andrew Francis, Manisha Basker, Rachel Barrett, and Marissa Murakami for all the work they've done. If you see them during these next couple of days, please say thank you. It's because of their work, along with the volunteers, that makes this conference possible. It's been an incredible year for the Academy, and it's been a strong year for the profession. As many of you know, I don't share totally the gloom and doom that some people have about our profession. I think orthotics and prosthetics will be needed more and more over the coming years. The profession will stay strong and get even stronger. I believe that the Affordable Care Act, in the long run, once it's all worked out and the tweaks are put in, will be beneficial to everybody in the healthcare profession. It's hard not to see where 30 more million people having healthcare won't benefit those that help them. Your patients will be coming to you for years to come. As the population ages, they will need more care from prosthetists and orthotists, not less. Your practices may be slightly different. We spent this afternoon talking about hands that are made for $50, 3D printing, things of that nature. But the reality is that that kind of thing will always be there. But your services, those services of highly educated, highly professional individuals, will always be needed. That will never change. In the past year, once again, the Academy has been financially successful. We have gone in 10 years from when I first came to the Academy with a reserve fund of $172,000, which actually meant if one of our annual meetings wasn't successful, we could have closed the doors, to a current reserve fund of $4.3 million. That has been done by the boards over the years being incredibly careful with your money, the members' money, being careful how they spent it, and being careful how they planned for the future. We have new publications. We have an amazingly successful online learning center, which 10 years ago was just in its infancy and today provides a good percentage of the revenue for the Academy. It's the wave of the future. And online learning is something that everybody's going to need. This past year has also been exciting because we worked with the HOPE Consortium. The HOPE Consortium is 5 technician programs who have an $11 million grant from the Department of Labor. The grant is based on the fact that they believe in the profession of orthotics and prosthetics, there are more jobs and more people will be needed. That's how they got that grant from the Department of Labor. So it's not just me who believes that this profession is growing and more people will be needed. We have produced a new basic brochure, which each of you received in your packet. The new opcareers.org website is now up and live. We think you should take a look at it. It's very exciting to see what our profession is all about. It's meant for those who want to enter the profession, and I think it's an exciting thing to look at. Before this evening's program is over, we will be premiering a new video. It's an awareness video on the profession, and I think that's a great opportunity as well. I think you'll enjoy it, and it will be on the OP Careers website for anyone interested in our profession to see the excitement that you get from helping someone to live a better life. Because after all, what you do every day is make life better for someone else. What you're doing every day is making sure someone can fulfill their hopes, their dreams, support themselves, support their families, see their children growing up. That's what you accomplish day in and day out. And I think that is recognized by the world we live in. I know I understood it a lot better once I started working for you, but I think it's something that you all have to be incredibly proud of. You really make a difference in this world, and not everybody can say that. As you move forward, I will always be following the profession. I feel a part of it. I think that as I age, as others age, one never knows tomorrow whether we need the profession, whether we need someone in it. So the future looks good, the future is exciting, and I was proud that you let me play a small part in making a difference in that future. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to call Phil Stevens, our president, back to the podium.
Thank you, Peter. My wife and I recently moved our family into a new neighborhood. And it's been a very exciting, dynamic time. We've met a lot of new friends. We've met a lot of new neighbors. And over the course of that transition, there have been a lot of introductions. And during the course of those introductions, invariably we get to the point where someone asks about employment. What do you do for a living? And when we get to that point, and I announce that I'm a prosthetist orthotist, the conversation stops. The routine has been broken up a little bit. And the person you're speaking with looks up and says something along the lines of, really? What does that mean? Or, wow, that sounds fascinating, tell me more. Because what we do, as Peter said, is truly unique and is inherently fascinating. Let's talk about how unique it is. I looked on the Bureau of Labor and Statistics at some data. In the United States, there are about 700,000 physicians and surgeons. There are about 750,000 attorneys, roughly 500,000 high school teachers, about 1.2 million accountants, and 2.7 million registered nurses. By comparison, the same data source, says that there are 8,500 prosthetist orthotists. So let's put that figure in perspective. That means for each one of you, there are 88 attorneys. So be careful. For each one of you, there are 121 accountants. And for each one of you, there are 317 registered nurses. So you are unique in the role that you get to play within your communities. We're also fascinating. Let's think about the Super Bowl. There were several companies that invested a tremendous amount of money to advertise at the Super Bowl. When I say a tremendous amount of money, $4 million got you 30 seconds. $8 million got you a minute. And yet these companies were willing to invest that money because that gave them access to over 114 million viewers at home. But there's a difference between having access and having their attention. Each company has to figure out how they're going to grab the attention of those 114 million people. And so I was struck, as I'm sure most of you were, that two very established companies, Toyota and Microsoft, chose to use prosthetic case studies to try and capitalize on those million-dollar investments and grab the attention of the 114 million people at home. In essence, they came to our workplace for a day. So what we do is inherently fascinating. So the question that I have for all of us is, in the presence of increasingly common and increasingly creative audits, in the presence of decreasing reimbursement and increasing patient volumes, has it stayed fascinating to each one of us? There's a British author, G.K. Chesterton, who bragged about his ability to take pleasure in things simply being themselves. He talks about the wetness of water and the fieriness of fire, the steeliness of steel, and my favorite, the unutterable muddiness of mud. Now, if he can take pleasure from the unutterable muddiness of mud, surely we can take pleasure from what we get to do. He continues, what is needed now is intense imagination. I'm talking about the power to turn our imaginations inward on the things we already have and make those things live. Not pursuing new experiences, which will quickly become old experiences, but learning how to experience our experiences and enjoy our enjoyments. So how do we do that? Well, I would propose that there is a path that we can go down on a daily basis to help us experience our experiences and enjoy our enjoyment. And that path is an acronym. The P on your path are the people that you get to interface with every day. I'm talking about our patients, their family members, and their support staff. I don't want to bore you with individual examples from my patient load. I'd rather that you consider your own patient loads and consider individual examples from those. These people are amazing. These people are inspiring. They face some pretty overwhelming odds with sometimes fairly limited resources, and yet they confront those challenges, and with various levels of success, they overcome them. And we're lucky enough that we get to play just a small role in that process, in their lives. And so I would ask you to take a few minutes at the end of each day to consider the people that you got to interface with that day. And in so doing, I would suggest that the field will stay fascinating and amazing. The A in our path is our actions. I had a residency director years ago that used to joke that there was no L code for good. We can't code for good. We don't get paid for good, but we provide that service anyway. because it's the right thing to do. And so when I speak of actions, I'm really speaking of those extra actions that we take during patient encounters. When we look down and realize that if we took another 1/4 inch off of that foot plate, it would fit in the shoe a little easier. Or when we ask for one more pass down the parallel bars and we give that wrench another 1/4 turn to see if we can't improve the alignment. The trouble with those actions is that they're very subtle and they're hard to perceive. Your patients probably won't take note of them. Your employer will almost certainly not notice what you did. In fact, the only people that know what you did are yourselves. And so I would encourage you to take time at the end of each day to consider the extra actions that you took so that you could finish the day knowing that you did the best you could for each of the people that was placed in front of you that day. The T of our path is our thoughts. I read a quote that says that experience is the child of thought. And I had to think about that a little bit. Experience is the child of thought. What that means, mere repetition doesn't make us any better at what we do. We might be doing it wrong over and over again. If we want to get better at what we do, we have to think about it. We have to evaluate what worked, what didn't work, why did it work, is it transferable to this case? That's how we learn. And so at the end of each day, I would encourage you to review your thoughts throughout the day as you did your best to become a little better at your craft and at what you do. Finally, the H of our path is our happiness. William Bennett, former Secretary of Education, said of happiness that it's not like a dog. It won't come when you call it. He says happiness is more like a cat. All you can do is go about your day, do the things that you do, and from time to time you'll look down and it'll be wrapped around your feet. Another way to put it is that happiness really can't be pursued so much as it can be perceived. And so while we do have some long days from time to time with a lot of challenges, within those days we have moments of success. We have moments of victory. And so I would encourage all of us to take a moment to savor those and enjoy those for what they are. And then it's a fairly simple math, but you can double your happiness if you savor those moments when they occur and if you review them again at the end of the day and take time to enjoy them. 1% is not much, but we're all worth at least that much. 1% of a 24-hour day is about 15 minutes. And so my invitation to all of us is to take 15 minutes at the end of each working day to consider the path that we walked down that day. Consider the people that you got to work with. Consider the actions that you took to make their lives better. Consider the thoughts that you processed as you tried to get better at what you do, and consider the happiness that you experienced as you did your best for those folks. And it's my humble suggestion that as we do so, this field that is inherently fascinating can remain fascinating for each one of us as we do our best. Thank you for all you do for the people that we serve. I would like to introduce Don Kaas, MHA, COL Fellow, Chairman of the Orthotic and Prosthetic Education and Research Foundation's Board of Directors. Don?
Thank you, Phil. Boy, what a fantastic presentation. That was really wonderful. And mindfulness, everything. It is a pleasure and an honor to once again represent OPERF at the Academy's annual meeting and scientific symposium. On behalf of the Foundation and its Board of Directors, I extend my thanks to the Academy to offer a few words. Since its inception, OPERF has had a singular goal to advance education and research in orthotics and prosthetics. The foundation exists to support the training of scientific and academic leaders, as well as to support an array of clinically relevant investigations to elevate the level of O&P practice within the United States. One of the most important ways OPERF supports research and education in O&P is through its awards program. The OPERF research program allows us to address the need for research and scientific evidence in O&P by supporting meritorious individuals and institutions through grants, fellowships, and travel awards. These competitive awards are offered annually to investigators, graduate students, and residents in an effort to stimulate research from within the O&P profession. OPERF's Fellowship Award program is designed to support quality graduation education research. For calendar 2014, the Foundation bestowed a $5,000 fellowship award to Sarah Peterson, MS-CPO Fellow with the University of Pittsburgh, to investigate functional electrical stimulation use in transtibial amputations, a pilot study. The Foundation's highest award is the $25,000 Smaller Grant Award, which is designed to support investigator-initiated research related to the O&P profession. This has proven to be an effective tool in serving as seed money, if you will, to study a promising hypothesis that can lead to more competitive federal funding for higher impact research to advance P&O care. While typically a single award of this type is given each year, we were most pleased to receive 2 applications that scored sufficiently high with our research committee's rigorous review process. To that end, the OPERF Board of Directors approved the use of funds to support each of these projects. One awarded to Brian Hafner, PhD, with the University of Washington, with his research entitled Enhancing Quality, Utility, and Interpretability of Self-Report Outcome Measures for Prosthetic Applications, Psychometric Evaluation of Reliability, Mode of Administration Equivalence, Measurement Error, and Detectable Change. The other award is to Suk Hoon Kim, PT, PhD, with the University of South Florida, for gait adaptation in transfemoral amputees using split belt treadmill training. Congratulations to both of these investigators. The OPERF Student Challenge was introduced last year, being born of the idea of establishing a mechanism for students to contribute to their profession's educational growth through collaborative, creative, and organized fundraising activities. A school assigns a faculty representative to introduce the idea to the students, and the OPERF board or committee member serves as a liaison with the foundation. Whether through sponsoring a raffle, hosting a fun run, or some type of community event, the intent was to allow the students to lead an effort that would demonstrate an early commitment to advancing the profession through funding of research and education awards in partnership with OPERF. For calendar 2014, I'm pleased to share that the students from 2 different university programs participated. One group from the students from the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center P&O program, and the other from Eastern Michigan University. I'd like to welcome to the stage Michael Winters, serving as a student representative from UT Southwestern, and Katie Blacharski, representing Eastern Michigan's program. Some of you may recall that the UT group had a successful inaugural student challenge event at Topgolf Dallas, where last year's team raised $1,675 for the foundation. As you can see on this slide, this year proved to be even more productive, almost doubling the funds raised with a whopping $3,238 from students and friends from the O&P community. Besting last year's inaugural student challenge is the $1,892 raised from the team from Eastern Michigan University. The EMU group raised funds by hosting a golf tournament on the university's course, obtaining support from university faculty and other members of the community. You want to come up? The obligatory photo op. Well, for those keeping count, with the great work of these student groups and with $5,000 worth of matching funds from the Academy, this brings the total funds to date from the Student Challenge initiative to over $11,800. What an exciting start to a new program, and I hope the students find it equally gratifying. Many thanks also to Susan Kapp and the UT faculty and Wendy Beatty with the Eastern Michigan faculty for the guidance and support you all provide to make this, help make this possible. I would like to invite representatives from 2 Academy chapters to the stage for their continuing support to OPERF in calendar 2014. From the New Jersey chapter, we have President Kathy Muscola, LPOCO, BOCPO, with their donation of $5,000. And from the Texas chapter, President Suzanne O'Connor, CPO, LPO Fellow, with their donation of $2,000. Working with our Academy chapters can be a very straightforward and seamless way for Academy members from across the country to show their support for OPERF's work. Well, I don't see them approaching the stage, unless that's, no? Oh, here we go. There's Kathy. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Check goes this way. Okay, fantastic. Thank you again, Kathy. Many thanks to all who contribute to the success of these local chapters and for their continuing support. OPERF couldn't exist without the generous donations from Academy members in the field of O&P. OPERF has been able to grant almost $250,000 worth of recipients, $250,000 to worthy recipients since its date of incorporation in 2008. The Academy continues to provide administrative support to the Foundation free of charge, which means 100% of all donations go straight to research and education awards. Another incredibly meaningful way the Academy has supported OPERF is through the Academy Board approving the funds raised from an annual golf and wine tasting event. For 9 years running now, this event has been held in the state of Arizona, typically Phoenix, and it absolutely could not exist without the incredible dedication and efforts from Mr. Frank Bostock, MBA CO Fellow. Frank, of course, is a past president of our Academy and has led the organization of this event since its inception, typically consisting of 35 to 40 golfers and anywhere from 15 to 20 sponsors. While many of the players may come from the southwest region of the U.S., several come from across the country to contribute to this laudable cause. Due to Frank's tenacity, this event has now raised over $150,000 over the past 9 years, with the most recent event alone raising an impressive, record-breaking $27,886. I'd like to ask Phil Stevens, MED CPO Fellow, Academy President, to join me in the presentation of this check on behalf of the Academy. OPERF owes a debt of gratitude again to the Academy for their support and to Frank Bostock for this incredible work ethic in seeing this event through year after year. This past year, the American Board for Certification in Orthotics and Prosthetics and Podorthics approached OPERF expressing an interest to support the Foundation in a meaningful way. I can personally attest to the fact that the discussions that ensued were unified from the start, considering each organization's common goal of promoting education and fostering the success of future practitioners. What ultimately transpired is absolutely awesome, as ABC agreed to contribute $100,000 to be used to support the existing OPERF resident travel and student award structure. I'd like to invite Mr. Jim Wynn, CPO Fellow, President of ABC, to the stage to say a few words. Jim? Sorry, Bob.
Thanks, Don. ABC is pleased to support the great work that OPERF provides on behalf of our profession. We hope that our sponsorship of these awards helps the next generation of orthotic and prosthetic students and residents to participate in our future as O&P professionals, faculty, or researchers. I encourage all of you to consider how you can support OPERF in their efforts in raising the standards of education and research with the goal of providing O&P patients the best possible care we can. Thank you very much.
Well, this generous donation from ABC allows OPERF to grant not just 2 awards of $1,000 each, but now 4 awards of $2,500 each to deserving residents in the next 5 years. This new ABC Resident Travel Award is designed to support O&P residents to travel to the Academy meeting so that they may present their NCOPE-directed research study to the profession. For the ABC Students Awards, this is designed to support O&P students currently enrolled in a KHEP-accredited program and who have completed at least 1 semester toward their degree. Past awards were for $500 each, supporting up to 5 students, whereas thanks to ABC, we'll now be able to solicit applications for 10 awards, each being a $1,000 cash grant to utilize for their education. As you can see, this now allows OPERF to award up to $62,500 worth of research and education awards in calendar 2015 and beyond. Many thanks again to ABC and their most generous support. Well, in closing, again, on behalf of the OPERF Board of Directors, thank you again for the Academy for this opportunity to showcase the work of the Foundation and for your ongoing support. Thank you again.
It is now time to present the Academy Awards. Jason Highsmith, our President-elect, will assist with the honors.
Thank you, Phil. And on behalf of the Board of Directors, I'd like to thank you for your leadership over the course of the past year. So we'll start off with the Clinical Creativity Award. So the Clinical Creativity Award is intended to recognize individuals who demonstrate high levels of creativity in process or device development that improve orthotic and/or prosthetic patient care. This first individual, I had the unique experience of serving as his resident, and then about 8 years later, had the privilege of being his graduate advisor, and I was probably as big a pain in the tail of a resident as he was as a grad student. Our 2015 Clinical Creativity Award winner is Jason Carroll. Jason has been a clinical prosthetist for 20 years, an instructor and researcher for the University of South Florida School of PT and Rehab Sciences for nearly 10 years. He's presented and published regularly and is a 5-time Trinehart nominee for research on topics such as socket interfaces, vacuum-assisted suspension, microprocessor knees, energy-storing feet, and systematic reviews. Jason, would you please join us on stage? Okay, next up is the Clinical Commitment Award. The Clinical Commitment Award is intended to recognize those Academy members who have quietly demonstrated a commitment to the ABC Code of Professional Responsibility and to improving the professional image of the orthotic and prosthetic profession to patients, coworkers, and colleagues. Our 2015 Clinical Commitment Award winner is Scott Cummings. Scott is a certified orthotist and prosthetist that specializes in pediatric and geriatric prosthetics, as well as pediatric orthotics, with an emphasis on scoliosis management. Scott is a past president of the Academy, serves on the board of the Orthotic and Prosthetic Education Research Foundation, member of the Amputee Coalition's Medical Advisory Committee, and serves on the editorial board for In Motion magazine. He's a regular guest lecturer at multiple physical therapy education programs and a frequent presenter here at O&P conferences, including the Academy. Scott, congratulations. Would you please join us on stage? The Research Award. The The Research Award is intended to recognize members performing the most outstanding research in the field of orthotics and prosthetics. The research must have been documented and published or presented as a part of an Academy-sponsored scientific education program within the previous 3 years. Bob Gailey is our 2015 Research Award winner. Bob is a professor at the University of Miami's Miller School of Medicine, Department of PT, and he is the director of the Neil Spielholz Functional Outcomes Research and Evaluation Center. Bob has been special advisor to the Department of Defense for amputee rehabilitation, has authored over 60, an impressive 60 peer-reviewed publications, book chapters, and has been involved in developing 7 outcome measures, including the Amputee Mobility Predictor, the AMP, the Comprehensive High Activity Mobility Predictor, the CHAMP. His research focuses on amputee rehabilitation, prosthetic gait, functional assessment, and amputee athletics. Congratulations. Would you please join us on stage, Dr. Gailey? Outstanding Educator. The Outstanding Educator Award recognizes an educator currently associated with at least one of the NCOPE accredited educational programs. This educator must have demonstrated unique didactic or laboratory skills which create a positive and permanent impression on the students he or she teaches. The Outstanding Educator Award will be awarded to 2 individuals this year. The first 2015 Outstanding Educator Award recipient is Mark Muller. Mark has been an ABC certified orthotist prosthetist since 1995 with degrees in engineering and material science and instructional design. Mark is a full-time instructor on lower limb prosthetics, gait, biomechanics, and applied technologies at the CSUDH's Masters in O&P program. He lectures nationally and internationally, is a part-time instructor for the DPT program at CSU Long Beach and UC Irvine's Primary Medicine and Rehab Department, and owns a consulting company that develops O&P educational materials. Mark, congratulations. Please join us on stage. The second 2015 Outstanding Educator Award recipient is Jerry Stark. Jerry is a senior upper limb clinical specialist for Ottobock, Austin, Texas. He holds a mechanical engineering degree, a master's of science in engineering management. In his 24-year career, Stark has served in a number of positions in engineering, clinical care, product development, and education. Stark is a former instructor at Northwestern University P&O Center and continues as contributing faculty member there. He presents nationally and internationally and has contributed to multiple professional publications, presentations at multiple meetings, including here at the Academy. Congratulations, Jerry. Please join us on stage. Next, we have the Mohammed Amin Award. The American Academy of Orthotists and Prosthetists is proud to recognize Cameron Clapp for his outstanding contributions to individuals with disabilities. The Academy is honored today to present an award that we do not offer every year. The Mo Amin Award is named after the award-winning photographer who single-handedly changed the world's view of its humanitarian responsibility. This is the 30th anniversary of the Ethiopian famine of 1984 and 85. The photographs taken by Mo Amin brought the suffering and anguish of the disaster into the living rooms of the world and eventually led to one of the greatest relief efforts in the history of the world. The song We Are the World and the Live Aid and Band Aid concerts were direct results of Mo's efforts to inform the world. Today, Mo Amin Award recipient exemplifies this same spirit. The American Academy of Orthotists and Prosthetists is proud to recognize Cameron Clapp for his dedication to actively inspiring amputees to thrive. On September 15, 2001, only 4 days after the attacks of September 11th, 15-year-old Cameron Clapp experienced his own devastating tragedy. After an evening of underage drinking with his twin brother, Cameron was struck by a train and lost both of his legs and his right arm in the accident. Now at 28 years of age, he has this message: give your patients hope. Life is about overcoming obstacles, setting goals, never giving up, making the right decisions, and not using drugs or alcohol. Cameron is an active volunteer with experiences ranging from talking with combat injured heroes to the children of Camp No Limits. In recognition of his outstanding record of service, inspiring other amputees to live their lives to the fullest, the American Academy of O&P is proud to present Cameron Clapp with the Amin Award for Humanitarian Service this 18th day of February 2015. Cameron could not be here with us today because he's out of the country, so Cameron's mentee and friend, Pedro Pimenta, is here today to accept this award on Cameron's behalf. Pedro, would you please join us on stage? I'd like to now present our Distinguished Practitioner Award. The Distinguished Practitioner Award recognizes an individual who through leadership and dedication has helped to advance the profession of orthotics and prosthetics. This year's Distinguished Practitioner Award is being presented to Kevin Carroll. Kevin, would you please join me on stage? The American Academy of Orthotists and Prosthetists is proud to recognize Kevin Carroll for his outstanding leadership in the profession and dedication to quality patient care, and his commitment to inspiring the next generation of O&P clinicians. Kevin first became involved with prosthetics in his native country of Ireland at the National Med Rehab Center in Dublin. In 1984, he moved to the U.S., where he pursued a career in prosthetics, rising to his current position as Vice President of Prosthetics for Hanger. Kevin is an internationally recognized innovator, leader, educator, mentor, and prosthetist with more than 30 years in practice. He's a fellow of the Academy. His volunteer leadership roles have included 2 terms on the Academy's Board of Directors and 6 years as a member of the Education Development Council, 3 of those as chair. Kevin has also served on the Annual Content Committee and as a chair of the Academy's Lower Limb Prosthetics Society. He's a professional advisor for the Amputee Coalition and a member of the Academy Today Review Committee and the O&P Edge Advisory Board. He's also a member of the ISPO, the National Association of Professional Geriatric Care Managers, and the British Association of P&O. When not caring for human patients, Kevin has volunteered at the Clearwater Marine Aquarium, where he works with an amputee dolphin that you might have heard of by the name of Winter, who lost her tail after being entangled in a crab fishing net. Kevin and his colleague Dan Strimka developed the world's first prosthetic tail that replaces the entire tail of the dolphin. The story of Winter was made into the film Dolphin Tale in 2011, a film that inspired the world, piqued interest in the P&O profession. It's for his many accomplishments to date, and for those yet to be realized, that the Academy and its members proudly present Kevin Carroll with the Distinguished Practitioner Award this 18th day of February 2015. The Academy is proud to recognize Don Kaas for an outstanding career as a leader in the profession and a provider of quality care to individuals with disabilities. The Academy presents him with the Titus Ferguson Award. Don, can you please join me on stage? Some individuals are selected for this august achievement for sustained and outstanding dedication to the provision and improvement of patient care. Others are awarded for their contribution to the science of orthotics and prosthetics and the dissemination of newfound information. What's going on back here? We've got nice things to say about you, Don. Finally, there are those whose history of volunteer activities has embodied the ideals of the profession and of the Academy. This year, we're fortunate to have an individual whose contributions span all 3 of these spheres. Don Kaas received his Bachelor of Science in Prosthetics and Orthotics from University of Texas Southwest Medical Center. He completed residency at Newington's Children's Hospital. where he discovered his calling as a pediatric orthotist. This led him to Texas Scottish Rite Hospital for Children in 1986. Over the next 29 years at Texas Scottish Rite, he became successively the director of orthotics, the administrative director of the O&P department, and assistant administrator for the hospital. Don returned to school, received a Master's of Science in Healthcare Administration from the UT at Arlington. Following completion of his degree, he was promoted to Vice President of Facilities and Process Design for the entire hospital system. Don is also a past president of the Academy. Don has published multiple peer-reviewed papers and is a sought-after and recognized expert in spinal orthotics, scoliosis, and related topics. Despite his exhaustive list of contributions to our profession, no citation of Don's achievements would be complete without mentioning his commitment to his family. His wife, Katie, and 3 children, Eric, Nick, and Madeline, are as integral a part of Don as his legacy in prosthetics and orthotics. Between running a hospital, maintaining a practice of pediatric patients, volunteering as a leader, conducting clinical research, authoring chapters and articles, and lecturing around the globe, Don always has time for basketball games, dances, and hiking trips. He is truly a remarkable man, a man of high moral character, integrity, and a gift to our profession. It's for these accomplishments and many more that the Academy and its members proudly present Don with the Titus Ferguson Lifetime Achievement Award this 18th day of February.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, when I received an email from Michelle Hall asking when it might be a good time to catch each other by phone, my immediate thought was there must be some type of professional initiative she wanted to discuss. Out of interest to provide my undivided attention, I endeavored to find a reliable 30-minute time slot, which wasn't until the end of the week this past November. Our call began precisely on time. Michelle is always very punctual. My mind was fully engaged, eager to listen and to be ready to offer what would hopefully be an informed perspective on whatever the issue may be. In receiving the word that the Academy wanted to present me the Titus Ferguson Award, I'm sure the silence on her end of the line was deafening. I was caught completely off guard. By the end of our discussion, I happily recalled my having the same opportunity while an immediate past president of our Academy 10 years prior, having the honor to call other colleagues with similar news. Of course, I am humbled and frankly dumbfounded by the very thought of being here today to receive this award, but why? The answer is simple. It isn't about me. Rather, it's about what this honor represents. It represents why everyone is here in this room today, to better themselves on behalf of those we serve, our patients. This, my friends and colleagues, is worth celebrating and worthy of thoughtful recognition. I was asked to consider offering my perspectives on where our profession has been, where it is today, and where we appear to be going. That's a daunting task, as the dynamics of yesterday are eclipsed only by the increasingly fast-paced change of today. It was in 1917 that a trade association was formed by the name of the Artificial Limb Manufacturers and Brace Association, which, after World War II, was renamed the Orthopedic Appliance and Limb Manufacturers Association. Representatives from the federal government and others recognized the need to view caregivers of the day as clinicians caring for patients rather than craftspeople and blacksmiths hammering on leather and metal. In 1948, the need to establish minimum standards of competency to those providing orthotics and prosthetics care served as the genesis of what was initially called the American Board for Certification in Prosthetics and Orthopedic Appliance Industry, Inc., which in 1959 became the American Board for Certification in Orthotics and Prosthetics. Soon after the formation of this regulatory body in 1951, a combined written and oral exam was first established for certification in a given discipline. Some forward-thinking representatives from both AOPA and ABC recognized the need for a professional organization where an individual practitioner's views could be represented with a focus on continuing education. The year was 1970, and this served as the founding of our academy. 2 years after that, in 1972, the Education Accreditation Commission, or EAC, was established to evaluate methods to assess and compare O&P scholastic curricula, the beginning of what we now know today as NCOPE. At the time, only a high school diploma and a minimum number of hours of experience was required to sit for an ABC exam to become certified. These requirements changed to an Associate of Arts degree in 1973, and in 1986, the year I completed my residency in orthotics at Newington Children's Hospital after earning my Bachelor's of Science degree of O&P at UT Southwestern. A bachelor's degree became the minimum education standard to be eligible to sit for one's national board exams at the ABC. So what does all this have in common? I'll submit to you a single word: courage. The courage to question the status quo, to step up and make a difference. Thomas Jefferson said, "One man with courage is a majority." Not to be taken too literally in the context of representative government, the idea is having the ability to recognize a problem and being motivated and capable to bring about meaningful change for the better. I'm reminded of my own experience as a relatively new board member of our academy in 1999 when Bill Schumann, CPO, the presiding officer for an intense board meeting, could tell by my body language that I had concerns about what was being discussed. During a short break, he approached me and said, "Do you think we're heading in the right direction with this? If not, you should say something. You could turn this room." What a gift. To be bolstered by a senior colleague for whom I had such great respect, one who would later be honored with the 2007 Titus Ferguson Award, encouraging me to do one thing: to have the courage to make a difference. I can easily imagine the debates that raged decades prior by those who recognized the need to advance the profession we all call our own today. In what I'm sure was a climactic moment during a multidisciplinary conference on P&O education in 1970, J.W. Perry, a PhD advisor to the meeting, stated a harsh truth. He said, I quote, "A primary task is to spell out in writing that the professional organizations of P&O have indeed accepted responsibility for its educational destiny. If this fails, then it has no right to call itself a profession, either today or in the future." Without doubt, it has been said that a good scare is worth more to a man than good advice. Without doubt, the sentiment to define ourselves or be defined by others serves as a rallying cry for many before us to have the courage to elevate our profession despite countless obstacles and challenges along the way. For those in the room who may have participated in a strategic planning initiative, there's a funny term that's often used: BHAG. What's a BHAG? A BHAG is a less than eloquent acronym for Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal. And that is how I would classify the Academy's Project Quantum Leap, or PQL, in 2001. The intent was to convene what was then termed Clinical Standards of Practice Consensus Conferences for the range of clinical services we provide and to catalyze clinical research in O&P. PQL aimed to secure report language from the federal government's Rehabilitation Services Administration appropriations bill to provide our Academy up to $1 million to launch this important initiative. We were not successful in our first year, which in looking back I believe was a blessing in disguise. Charles Kettering, an American engineer in the early 20th century, said, "A problem well stated is a problem half solved." Our perceived failure at the time really forced us to look at ourselves in the mirror, to define what is really the root cause of there being limited evidence to support our clinical decision making, and to determine the best strategy to both quantify and address the problem. With tested but ultimately unwavering enthusiasm, PQL continued, and it was ultimately successful for its first of what became 5 years of annual funding from the federal government, beginning in 2003. Extensive work ensued on studying the geographic distribution of O&P practitioners throughout the U.S. to better understand the public's access to care, the development of an advanced degree strategic plan, and a master agenda of convening what became known as State of the Science Conferences, or SSCs, after collaborating directly with the National Institute of Health. These SSCs were the second generation of our idea of hosting consensus conferences, except the NIH rightly pointed out that from a scientific standpoint, consensus should only be reached when a level of evidence is sufficiently high to quell any disputes, something that's rarely achieved even in the most established forms of science and medicine. Over the past decade, the Academy has successfully convened and published the findings of 11 SSCs, where clinical points of agreement are reached, disagreements are defined, and based on extensive literature reviews, research priorities are established to help fuel new research questions needing to be answered to advance O&P patient care. Today, there are 13 accredited master's level practitioner programs spread across 11 states and 6 technician programs, with 7 presently under review through NCOPE. Further, a PhD can now be earned specifically dedicated to orthotic and prosthetic sciences at a handful of universities within the U.S., an opportunity that for prior years was only possible by matriculating with programs in Scotland, Australia, or Hong Kong. Why is this important? Looking back in the throes of many lively debate on where we are and where we were heading as a profession, while chairing the Academy's research committee, I came to realize a lot of hard work had already been done prior to my time to promote clinical research. I would have more seasoned colleagues basically state, while I appreciate your enthusiasm, you're not going to be able to change anything. The problem is just too big, which really didn't help. My personal aha moment came from discussing obstacles and opportunities in promoting research with a colleague in academia when the point was made, Don, you need to understand that orthotists and prosthetists today really aren't educated to be researchers. I had been coming from my own paradigm of being somewhat self-taught in clinical research, from voraciously reading manuscripts from peer-reviewed journals on subjects of clinical interest, seeking weaknesses in the conclusions that were drawn, and working in the environment of Texas Scottish Rite Hospital for Children, where opportunities to engage in research were possible. Define ourselves or be defined by others seemed to be a constant reminder, as most publications to guide O&P care were largely the work product of physicians and engineers, not orthotists and prosthetists. It was during several Department of Education funded sessions where our Academy was able to tap into some leading minds throughout the country on how to establish a foundation from which meaningful research could be launched, that it became evident that the lack of postgraduate opportunities for future clinicians was a critical unmet requirement to set a new course for the profession. While a body of evidence continues to grow to help support postgraduate studies, I couldn't be more encouraged with today's cadre of master's level students entering the profession. Thankfully, the initial concern of how elevating the minimum academic requirements from a bachelor's to a master's degree may exacerbate a perceived shortage of qualified students, the opposite is proving to be true. Being able to offer postgraduate work in P&O, including terminal degree opportunities with PhD level work, has attracted a more extensive range of high-caliber students to our profession, introducing new skill sets to benefit patient care both today and tomorrow. So what about the future? A prognosticator I am not, as I feel there are so many others much more qualified to speak to the professional issues of today to ensure our ability to provide optimal care in the future. I may be naive in this viewpoint, but regardless of countless regulatory challenges and explosions of new technology, a universal constant is that what we do comes down to those one-on-one moments with our patients and their families. While the importance of combating draconian RAC audits and quantifying the value of our services to CMS and countless other entities cannot be overstated, we must never lose sight of the relevance and importance of touching the lives of each and every patient requiring our care. So for the students, residents, and younger clinicians in the room, I'll offer 3 key points to ponder in that vein. Number 1, practice active listening with your patients. Stephen Covey, author of The 7 Common Habits of Highly Successful People, wrote an entire chapter on the idea to seek first to understand, then to be understood. It can be challenging to pause and listen to what your patient's concerns may be when you're either pressed for time or not yet confident in your ability. But get into the practice of repeating back what you think you heard before taking action. Stephanie Langdon, CPO Academy President in the year 2000, said in an interview, "Patients don't care how much you know until they know how much you care." What a beautifully succinct message to always keep in mind. Number 2, never check the time when the patient is speaking with you. The same could be said about standing over your patient or with your hand on the doorknob to exit a room when they're needing to communicate something to you. With the understanding that time is one of our most precious resources, I think you'll find that you're able to be even more efficient with your patient care by making it clear that they have your undivided attention and that you're there to help. Dr. Richard Moss said it best, the greatest gift you can give another is the purity of your attention. Once trust is established, everything becomes easier. Number 3 is for those in the room who provide the guidance to the young up-and-comers. My grandfather, Dr. Donald L. Kaas, Professor Emeritus of Chemical Engineering at the University of Michigan, had a firm grasp on the importance of teaching. He once was quoted as saying, "The student is the real reason you're here. no matter how busy you are, never let a student come to the door without answering a question or setting a date to do so. It's always worth pausing for thought and to reflect on what it really means to be a professional. When you teach your son, you teach your son's son. This paradigm has as much to do with being a professional as anything else, in that it establishes a culture of learning. All Orthotists and Prosthetists should discipline themselves to be both teacher and student. After all, the word discipline means to teach. This attitude is germane to interactions with our residents, with colleagues, a visiting student, or simply a patient on how best to make use of our services. Never lose your intellectual curiosity to challenge current practice, to seek a better way in all that you do, and to share your findings with others. I have been blessed in many ways. I have been blessed in having the opportunity to work with so many caring and talented people with our academy and other professionals representing various factions of medicine and research. As I look back on the list of names of past Titus Ferguson recipients, words cannot express how humbling this experience truly is. Perhaps it goes without saying that for the countless weekends of travel and the crazy long nights away from home to crunch the latest numbers and cobble together what I would hope to be a publication of interest over the years, none of this would have been possible without the love and support of my wife, Katie. It was in this very city of New Orleans some 27 years ago that on a cool evening in May of 1988 on the rooftop guest area of the historic Hotel Monteleone, I found myself on bended knee and having the nerve to ask for her hand. We've since enjoyed the raising of 3 beautiful children, now all young adults, sons Eric and Nick and daughter Madeline. Thank you, dear, for your support and strength, and I look forward to many years ahead. Well, bravo to the Academy leadership today and the work being done on behalf of the profession, and I look forward to what I'm sure will be another outstanding scientific session over the course of the next 3 days. Thank you very much.
For sharing those thoughts, and congratulations once more. At this time, I'd like to honor our colleagues with a moment of silence to remember those who have passed away over the last year. Their contributions to the O&P profession will not be forgotten. We're now excited to premiere the Hope Careers Consortium O&P Career Awareness video produced by the Academy. After the video, I invite you all to join me and the rest of the board for cocktails and hors d'oeuvres at the welcome reception in the exhibit hall. Thank you.
Want to shape your future and help others thrive? O&P may be the perfect match. Orthotics and Prosthetics, or O&P, is the evaluation, fabrication, and custom fitting of artificial limbs and orthopedic braces. It's a dynamic and growing allied health profession that encompasses both cutting-edge technology and hands-on patient care.
I am Dan Meinert. I am a certified orthotist and the director of an orthotic and prosthetic technician program. I make the future happen every day, and you can too.
O&P's unique blend of these interpersonal and technical skills make the profession attractive to people from a wide variety of backgrounds and affords them opportunities in a number of professions, such as therapeutic shoe, mastectomy, and orthotic fitters, podorthists, technicians, assistants, and O&P practitioners. O&P is a fast-growing profession, and one way to start is to become a certified technician. Students can attend an associate's degree program where they'll get extensive hands-on training in designing and making devices in the lab.
The folks that graduate from our technician program are going to be fully qualified for a career in orthotics and prosthetics technical work in the fabrication laboratory. We're going to graduate them ready to go to work on the first day.
You know, what we're finding is the students that are graduating from these programs are just better educated all around in all of the areas that they need to know.
You can make any one of the O&P professions a lifelong career, or you could decide to further your education and training to add to your credentials. Regardless of the role you ultimately select in O&P, you'll find there are plenty of opportunities in patient care facilities, retail outlets, with hospitals, VA facilities, and with manufacturers.
Having some of that latitude to be able to have a home life as well as a very rewarding career, I think is one of the greatest things about this profession.
Today, students training to be O&P professionals come from varied backgrounds, including other healthcare fields, such as nursing, physical or occupational therapy, engineering, business, manufacturing, education, the military, the arts, or service and automobile industries.
The people that are coming into this field are coming in from a greater variety of backgrounds. They're more highly educated and they have a lot of skill to bring. So that really excites me, working with all of the young people coming into the field.
A good candidate for the profession is someone with an interest not only in helping others, but also with an interest in working with their hands and problem solving.
I taught high school for 18 years and was looking for something else to do where I could help people and use my brain and my hands, and this seemed like a perfect combination to marry all the things that I love.
O&P careers require problem-solving abilities and creative thinking. Not every patient is the same, not every condition is the same, and not every solution is the same. That's what makes the field a great fit for returning veterans who have relied on these skills in the military. But there's more. There are resources available to help you pay for your O&P education. And there are a number of organizations and schools that offer grants and scholarships for O&P students. If you're currently unemployed, you may qualify for funding through the Trade Adjustment Assistance Program. If you're a military veteran, the GI Bill may pay for your education and some of your other expenses.
We have several patients who have experienced IED blast or other substantial injuries, and they're now back on active duty, still in the military, wearing prosthetic devices, running, jumping. It's a privilege for me to be able to assist and work with these combat wounded, our heroes. They're our heroes.
Orthotic and prosthetic patients can be any age, size, race, gender, or socioeconomic status, but they all have one thing in common. They need the services of O&P professionals. Some need short-term care as a result of an injury. Others have conditions that require lifelong care. Advances in engineering have opened amazing new possibilities for O&P devices and have given O&P professionals exciting new options to help their patients.
We're on a rocket ride, and my expectations have already been so exceeded, and it's just continuing to improve. And I'm finally allowing myself to dream, what comes next.
Orthotics and prosthetics is a great option if you're looking for a new career. O&P professionals come from diverse backgrounds and can start their career at any age. Some enter the O&P profession right out of high school. Others enter O&P after college or after working in another profession. For many of you, the ability to design and work with high-tech devices that drive the profession is another plus.
Just magical. And that's what we do every day when we work with our patients. We have to be creative. And that's what we do. We empower, we inspire, but also we have to have the technology to get these people up and going.
This is an exciting time to be in orthotics and prosthetics. We have so much out there now. We have robotics, we have 3D printing, we have a lot of technology.
To get to work with incredible materials, microprocessor technologies. Technology, you think of smartphone technologies, how we integrate those into prosthetic systems. Just amazing, incredible opportunities.
The common thread is that you, as an O&P fitter, podorthist, technician, assistant, or practitioner, can change lives. And the benefits are multiple. It's a very dynamic profession, which keeps it fresh and interesting.
You have to have a quality of interest in other people, interest in their well-being, improving their lives, improving their ability to function. You help people every day.
Why look for a job when you can discover a meaningful career? Prospects in the O&P profession are outstanding. The time is right to consider a career in O&P.
At this point in time, this field of orthotics and prosthetics presents more opportunities now than probably at any time in history. I've been in the industry for 52 years, and I can tell you from my own experience that what we're seeing today is the demand that exceeds anything that I've ever seen.
Want to learn more? Connecting with O&P professionals is a great way to learn more about the profession.
I think mentorship is a great way to get an introduction to the field, and most people in the field are very willing to share their knowledge and expertise with the next generation of professionals.
I would say that for a lot of people, they can go in and spend some time and say, yeah, this definitely is, I can see me doing this for decades.
If you're a student, a veteran, currently unemployed, or just looking for a new career, O&P could be a perfect fit. Find more than just a job, find a career.
You can see devices changing the lives of patients, enabling them to walk better or to function better during their life. And seeing that hands-on and knowing that I'll be part of that someday is very rewarding.
I mean, that's one of the great things about being here is that we're not just learning how to build something, we're learning how to change lives.
You know, there's something very exciting about making something that fits somebody very well, and they comment on it and they say, wow, this is great.
So whether you're looking for a new career or to better the world by helping patients and their families, you owe it to yourself to consider the O&P profession. It's your future, and everyone benefits.
With prosthetics and orthotics, you get in the room and you take a kid maybe that's never walked, you get them up on devices and you get that immediate gratification that, you know, not that you're bragging, but to say that, yeah, this is what I did today, and look at this.
This is a great profession. I get up every morning, love what I do. I've never had to work a day in my life. This is not work what I do. This is just a passion that I have, and you can do exactly the same.
It's just a joy, and it's a perfect career.
I'm Michelle Hall, and I'm a certified prosthetist orthotist. On a daily basis, I make a difference in people's lives, and you can too.